chance to speak to a lot of young students and a lot of experienced educators from various institutes across India. So it's a privilege that I'm able to interact with you on this particular evening, especially in this special course, summer course, which is being run by the Indian University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. The team has been doing a lovely job till now, and I'm sure you have all been learning a lot of things about astronomy and astrophysics. Maybe it was still basic till now, but even then, I remember about 20 years ago attending a similar workshop when I was in college, and it was mind-blowing even just to be here in the company of all these astronomers and astrophysicists. And of course, that is all hindsight. And today I'm here to present to you a different, choice of line which is related to astronomy, but also gives you a lot of satisfaction, a lot of useful work is done through it. And it is one of the mandates of IUCAA to do this particular kind of work. So I'm bringing to you today through this presentation. Let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so I am hoping all of you can see this, and I'm just going to do one more thing. Okay, perfect. So I'm just hoping that all of you can see this, see the slides clearly. So today I bring to you the highlights of IUCAA's education and public outreach activities. Okay, and also give you some pointers at how you yourself can and should get involved in these outreach activities. So I am Samir Dhurde here, and I'm a scientific officer here at IUCAA. We have a lovely team, some of whom are named here. Of course, we are also joined by a lot of volunteers and interns who are very valuable to us, and they keep providing support all through the year, all through our programs. So, and some of our social media handles are also mentioned here. I will keep repeating them again. So the idea behind this program that we call SciPop, okay, which is short for Scientific Public Outreach Program, or you can just call it Science Popularization Program. So this is a particularly unique program which IUCAA started about 30 years ago. And well, 31 years is also the age of IUCAA. So you can imagine that this was a program which was at the heart of IUCAA's mandate. And we always wanted to share the joys and excitement of astronomy with the people. Also, I'll tell you what our timeline has been and what our activities have been. So to bring to you in short, this is basically, it started with the dream of sharing the sky, sharing the activities of astronomy and astrophysics with the next generation. And you have to do it in a creative way. So this is something that we do all the year through. And this is something we are very proud of. And we are definitely always including as many people as possible with our activities so that they can enjoy and understand astronomy a little bit better. So the primary aims of IUCAA's public outreach programs are to, of course, interest science students in schools and colleges, to get them interested in taking up science, okay, as something that they like. And many a times we realize that when we are in school, many of you might have faced this, that sometimes there are some incidents or some kind of experiences which kind of turn you away from science. Of course, science is in itself quite exciting, But then sometimes you need this extra push. And particularly for me, to make it a bit more personal, I found astronomy and biology extremely fascinating. And that was what kept me in science all through the troubling years of 10th and 12th standard, right? That's when most of the people flow away from this and get into more kind of job-seeking avenues. However, you're all in this room, and I'm sure the reason for it is that you have at some point of time been excited by astronomy or any particular subject of science. So this is what we try to do right from the beginning. We try to get students to understand that science is interesting. But then there are also sections of the society, certain students who can actually not get access to various resources, especially for subjects like astronomy. So you therefore have to take extra efforts to basically reach them and share this world of astronomy with them. So that's one of the aims. That's one of the major aims. There's also motivated and talented students who can take up science research. Now, the thing is that they have to be, made a little bit more prepped for the future. So we also have certain activities which take them to that level. And the widest reach that we have is due to the aim, which is informing public and promoting astronomy amongst people. So public is always hungry for astronomy news, and you know that if you have a feed on your Android phone or Apple phone or something, you'll see so many astronomy stories coming up, and people just love them. People just want to know more. Only thing is that sometimes it's too difficult to understand the technical jargon of scientific world. So there is a challenge that an astronomy communicator, the science communicator has, which is to make things simple for people to understand, but not too spoon-feeding kind of information so that they feel, patronized or something like that. So there has to be a certain balance between the kind of information that you send out to the people. And that is what we do, especially also from the public outreach program of IUCAA. There's also a very important group of people that we reach out to, and that is amateur astronomers. Now, until you become a professional astronomer and start earning your livelihood by being an astronomer or by doing astronomy research, you can still be an amateur astronomer. Okay, and that gives certain satisfaction as well. Tomorrow, we are going to bring to you certain tools of the trade of amateur astronomers, and I'm sure you'll enjoy handling small telescopes, etc. So we will do that tomorrow in a session which will be at the same time. And in fact, tomorrow and day after is the day which we have outlined for basically bringing to you the joys of having a telescope, a reflecting telescope, an optical telescope, basically, which you can then use to either look at the sky yourself, find out various things, or you can use it to share the sky with others. So that is what we'll look at tomorrow. I will go back to sharing my screen again. Okay, so you can see that these are the primary aims with which we work, and that's a short timeline. Right in the beginning of IUCAA, 1990s, we were there in the field of outreach, one of the first institutes to start an outreach program at such scales, and to carry it on with constant support. We've had stalwarts like Professor Jayan Vishnu Narlikar, who all of you must be knowing. And after that, we've had constant support of all the directors, including Professor Dadij, Professor Kim Bhavi, and Professor Shomak Rai Chaudhary also is a major personality in astronomy outreach these days. So with all this support, IUCAA has been continuing to do outreach it started right from the regional level to local level to regional level to now to national level. And we have in 2014 got this beautiful science center. It's a place where we actually conduct activities, and it's got a separate campus for itself. along with the Science Park and the Chandrasekhar Auditorium. So you can imagine how much resources IUCAA has given to this particular effort. So in 2014, we got a donation from Pula Deshpande. He was a great writer of Marathi literature and a great friend of Professor Nalikar. So he supported this the making of this building and this campus. And we are here right now. You can see I'm sitting in this lovely office here with some nice tools behind me. There's a telescope here. There's some moon globe and various posters and all that. So that's my office. That's where I keep working all the time towards connecting the experts with the thousands of students and public in a variety of unique ways, some of which I'd like to share with you now. Okay, so this is just a brief look at our work model, and we work at all such levels, local, national, and also international. Locally, we work with the schools here, and we've had a school level program for many, many years now. And we have, in fact, had students come to us to attend our lectures here, and which happen during each second Saturday of every month. And we've seen them grow up and become teachers, and some of them have become researchers, etc. So that's a joyful thing to do. Also, we have the IUCAA's Giravli Observatory, which is about 80 kilometers away from here, in the same direction as GMRT. If you were here during a regular year, you'll probably have a bus trip to GMRT and IGO, which is the IUCAA Giravli Observatory. But that is also a region where we do a lot of outreach with the rural people there. Then we, of course, as I said, have various public interactions. And all of these are shown live on YouTube. I will give you the link again a little bit later. Then we have national level activities with universities and colleges. I know there are several members from universities, etc. here in this audience. So we do love to work with all of you, and would be happy to connect later and plan up something with you. We also work with a lot of government organizations, NGOs, and other private bodies, etc., in collaborations to do outreach related with astronomy. And as I just said, amateur astronomy is another big focus of our activities. At international levels, we have MOUs with bodies like the International Astronomical Union, etc. And of course, the mega projects, which are India's role in the future of astronomy. We also do a lot of outreach. We also host a lot of outreach happening for those projects from IUCAA. This is just a list of some of our regular programs. I can't describe them all to you because I do want to have a conversation later with you. So these are a few of the things, and I'll just read them out. At IUCAA, we in this campus here itself, we have a lot of lectures. We have open day on February 28th, when about 10 to 12,000 people have been visiting in the recent years. Even this year, when the pandemic has struck us and kept us inside, we had our program online, and we got about 13,000 views for our programs, and they have grown after the day also. So we do a lot of things, and we've also adapted to the pandemic. We've done our lectures and open days to get to people so that they can attend all these online. We also have school student summer programs for the, as I said, the brighter kids who participate in some of our competitions and get a chance to interact with scientists for about 5-6 days in their summer vacations. We have public visits, sky shows, and this is something we are missing in these last 1.5 years. But these are some of our popular activities, along with telescope making. So we have a small lab here where you can actually come and make your own telescope. This is a very important activity which I emphasize often, and it's important especially for the younger students, because this is something which gets your telescope off your own, of which you have your own ownership, And if you own something, I think you use it much more than if you buy something just off the shelf. So you can connect with us, and if you want to do some telescope making. Outside the campus, we do a lot of, we host a lot of workshops and activities, fun activities with students. So this is something which we do under our Science Toys and Space Toys project. Okay, and along with astronomy workshops for school students. We have teacher training programs, because through one teacher you can reach so many students, right? So we have special programs for teachers, so that they can gain some extra resources, extra insights, extra tidbits, facts, etc. about astronomy from us, and then they can themselves become our ambassadors and go to their own schools and do these programs. One of the very unique things that IUCAA has been supporting is that we also do some planetarium shows. So mobile planetarium shows are one of our hits during the rural outreach program, especially when we travel out to villages and show the sky to younger children. You see that somebody's trying to send a chat, I suppose. So let me check what. Yes, I can. What I'll do is I'll answer all your questions, specific questions at the end, because I want to have a conversation with all of you. Kept some time for that as well. Yes, so telescope workshops, etc. I'll answer a little bit later. Okay, so as you can see in the past year, we've turned our focus to online, and you should definitely go to our other channel other than the one which you're watching right now if you're on YouTube, or you've been given the link. So just look up IUCAA SciPop as a YouTube channel, and you'll be able to basically find out all about our programs, and you can find the recorded videos of our live events on that channel. Okay, and then of course we have our live updates coming up on all these handles: IUCAA SciPop on Facebook, IUCAA SciPop on Twitter. Just follow them and you'll find the details of these things which is happening. I can really say proudly that I think we did one of the largest outreach programs last year through the annular solar eclipse, in which we got the help of many volunteers outside also in spreading the word about the eclipse. But then the real joy was sharing it live from various locations, along with a lot of astrophysicists basically talking about their own views about the eclipse. Okay, and this was on 21st June last year, I remember. And this is a screenshot. We had about 2 lakh people watching that, 2 lakh views to that video on that day. So that's a wonderful, satisfaction that you get, that you reach so many people with your favorite subject, that is astronomy. Let me just. Okay. So, of course, pictures speak louder than words. So you can see the kind of audiences that we get. We have school children in our summer programs. This beautiful campus is visited by so many people. We have teachers' workshops, and our focus is more hands-on, like I said, telescope making, etc. But there's also a lot of hands-on science that we talk about, including, you can see this child making a tornado. Right now, a cyclone is affecting us, our skies, and may also affect tomorrow's observing program. But here is a demo cyclone or a tornado that one can make with 2 plastic bottles, right, joined together at their caps. So children enjoy that. We have demonstrations about various new upcoming things in astronomy, drawing competitions, quizzes, public lectures, school lectures, interactions with people, exhibitions, and a lot of amateur astronomers do visit us. And we have a big telescope upstairs through which they can also do short projects with us. So that's that, and there's some numbers again. You can see in India, of course, there's no dearth to numbers, but then reaching them effectively is the most important thing. And I think making things enjoyable is a very vital aspect of whatever outreach you do. So you may think, okay, I will go and talk with somebody, but if you're not interesting enough, that person may choose not to listen to you, or may just zone out. So you have to make the content interesting, and that's our focus all the time. including, like you can see here, Galileo is on stage describing how telescopes work, right? So that really catches the attention of students. So we do that, and as you can see, a lot of people are reached even during 2019, after which we reached people online. So these numbers have shot up like anything, but they're not in-person interactions. So we are kind of still missing that happening right now. Right. Our summer programs are really the ones which really connect with us, which we really enjoy immensely, because while in regular years you all would have been in the Bhaskar 1 or Bhaskar 2 or Bhaskar 3 lecture halls attending these lectures live, we would have been on the other side doing amazingly interesting activities like Measure the Universe or Becoming Friends with the Stars with these young astronomers coming up, budding astronomers, right? And so you can imagine how we are missing that. So this is about 20 years of evolution of this beautiful program. And why I'm specially highlighting this is because we've got several success stories coming out of this. And so these are people who have actually made their mark in astrophysics now, and they are there, and they've all come from some contact with the IUCAA SciPop program at some point of time in their early careers. So we're quite proud to say that they have been with us during the student times. Okay. So now our team here, in fact, I should show you the picture of the team. So this is the team here, and we have this picture taken at the Vigyan Samagam exhibition. I can see a few of you might have been there volunteering for some of the mega projects which were mentioned there during that event there, the traveling exhibition. So this is the team, and we have several kinds of various skills in those in this team here, right? And what we help do here is, other than the outreach for IUCAA, we are also catering to the next generation Indian projects, okay, with the science missions and projects that will be coming up. Now all these will require the creation of workforce. Okay, so in fact that's something which is also the aim of this whole summer school, that if the youngsters can become trained at this time, I think this is one of the golden opportunities, right? Sorry, so this is one of the golden opportunities to be in astronomy with all the mega projects coming up within this decade, and they will need people who are well trained to run them, right? And that is being highlighted by all the speakers. I'm doing that as well. And so mega projects like the 30-meter telescope, LIGO India, there are space missions like Aditya going up, SKA India. India is part of the square kilometer array as SKA India as well, right? So all these missions and many more to come, which are in the pipeline, and they are classified to be mentioned now, but they would be there for you, right? So these would require a comprehensive workforce. So that's something which is being handled right now, because many of you could be part of that. But other than that, we also need to educate the next generation, because after you guys retire, who will be working there, right? So we need to have that next generation getting interested and starting prepared right now. So that's one of the very important reasons why the next gen Indian projects are looking at outreach as well, with a very positive outlook. And there's also the communications aspect. So that other than what is given out by the astronomers, there are several other random facts and things like that going around on the net. Now anybody can just basically claim something, and these days on internet, on WhatsApp University. So the communications has to be important as well, because the right facts have to go out to the people, so that they have a proper image of what is astronomy, right? And this is and people are very very quick to jump onto things saying, oh, this is bad, this is wrong. They always catch the negative aspects. So we have to be very careful as communicators in telling people what we are all about. Okay, So this is, I'm just highlighting this to people who might have an interest in taking this up as a career as well in the future, right? So making educational resources, talking with students, teachers, etc., is something that you're sharing, or your already existing physics knowledge or mathematics knowledge, right? But communications is a completely different ball game. It has it has to be prepared very well. You have to kind of understand the astrophysics of things very well, and then you have to know how to communicate it to people in simple ways, in positive ways. So that's what we also do here, and that leads a lot of planning and programming, and then execution tactics are there, right? So it's not just that sometimes if people ask you, okay, why do you want to become a science communicator? They ask me, why are you into this? I say because it's also a challenging project. Okay, each project is challenging. It has its own process of design and implementation, right? So it's not just like I say, okay, I'll go and stand in the public and start giving a talk. That may not be very effective use of your time. So if you give it a thought, if you make it more attractive, if you make it more positive, if you make sure that people know that you are a correct source of information, that is the most effective way of doing outreach to anybody. So for that, I will mention a few skills that an EPO team, our EPO team has, and each EPO team should have. And so our EPO team basically is a lovely combo of people who are understanding of things which deal with education. Right. So and this is very important because even if, let's say, I'm trying to make a simple telescope or a demonstration to show some concept in school, it would be good if I don't go in randomly and talk about something. Right. Of course, children are interested. You go and talk to them about neutron stars right away. They are interested. If you start talking to them about black holes, they are all eyes. Okay. Even if you talk about the sun, they will listen to you. But if you can go in with a theme, if you can make the flow proper, if you can even relate it with their syllabus, that actually addresses some of the methods of which are part of research in education. Okay, so we have some people who are actually experts in that, in looking at the educational aspect, so that it is more useful for teachers and students. Right, so they accept the content that we provide to them. We also, of course, as I said, that we need specialists in communication. So our audiences are, of course, beyond the science community, but we also have to talk to people within the science communication circles, right? There has to be a nice network there. Also, the scientists, the astronomers, astrophysicists, in particular for us, have to be brought into this circle of communication. So it cannot be that somebody gives you a complex paper and you just simplify it and give it to the public. So they're all involved, and I'm so happy that IUCAA has very accessible and very friendly astronomers here who actually take out time to simplify things along with the communications team here. We need good websites. These are the high visibility connection to everyone. For news and various facts. What we project needs to be well illustrated. It needs to look good. It needs to sound good. It needs to feel good. So we have illustrators, infographic makers, people who also help us with videos, right? So video content is also a very major player these days because of tools like YouTube making it very easy to share videos, right? So if you have any of these skills, I think you can be a part of a EPO team. EPO stands for Education and Public Outreach. If you're going into this field ever, that is something you will keep encountering. So why I'm presenting all this to you is because I know that many of you, either as students or as educators, might have some interest in communicating with others about your favorite subject. Now, you might have tried in some way. So that is really appreciated in the local region. So I mean, just take an example that if you have a telescope with you or even binoculars, right? And you say that, okay, now a supermoon is happening or some such event is happening or a meteor shower is happening, right? And I'm going to just, go out in my community, my society, my village, anywhere, right? And then show all the residents there the sky or the moon or something which is happening in the sky. You'll see how much enjoyable that is to people and how much respect you get from them, right? And this is not like, you're not having to brag or something like that. You're just doing a selfless activity. You're just going there and you're sharing things, right? It's not even a thought, too much thought to it. But as soon as you do that, you get this satisfaction, and you also get this reciprocated feeling from people, right? Now, this is true, and this is true now that you have so much time. But later, when you get into, let's say, your research career, you may think, okay, fine, now it's done, right? I can, I've done a lot before. Now I've come to this research. Now I'll just do this. But at that point, I am telling you, it is still a joy to find your skill sets. I can see I'm getting some chats saying that I blog, I am on the internet, okay, I'm on social media. Yes, so those are things you should continue, right? Because you will have those tools available. You'll have internet, you'll have various tools on your computer. You'll work with great computers, right? So please make sure that you dedicate some of your time to outreach, right? And this is not just, as I will just show this slide. So outreach, I think, is not something that we do only to inform and explain that, oh, we are working here in our office. We are doing all these great things for astrophysics. We are doing this. We're churning these numbers. We're churning this data. We are using these telescopes. So I am feeling good, and I'm feeling very proud. So I am telling you. But that's not the point of outreach. You'll notice that the moment you connect with people, they will in turn be inspired. Okay, and as I just showed you some of the examples, what it will lead to is the next generation's achievements will be driven by the support that you have given them, right? So that is kind of what I and all the other people who do outreach through IUCAA are aiming at. So what we, as the title of our talk says, we are trying to excite the next generation with astronomy, and this will drive the next generation's efforts and achievements. Okay, and you know right now that how much things have changed in the last 10 or 20 years. Many of you are quite young, and that's probably your the number of years you have lived with conscious memory. So I can remember when the Hubble Space Telescope was launched. I think it was in April, 26 years ago, something like that. And it was a memorable event. Like, it was one of the few space shuttle launches which happened, and we were all looking forward to seeing some rocket go up in the sky on the TV news. And now, as you'll notice, there are launches every week. Some or the other company is launching into space every week. We have so many rovers right now crawling around on Mars, and some of the orbiters are orbiting Mars taking pictures, right? So it's just been 2 decades, and things have changed so much, right? And they've become so common to us that we don't even realize the special efforts which are going behind them, right? Similarly, in astronomy, we have all these missions now. You lose track of how many space telescopes are there, right? So yeah, it's going to become a very let's say accessible subject in the future. And what our next generation will, what importance our next generation will give to it will depend on how we communicate with them. Okay, so I hope I could give you a gist of what we do here and a gist of our thoughts behind doing outreach. And so in the future, we are of course hoping that some of you will tie up with us if you are interested, and at various levels. So we keep doing teacher training workshops, as I said, and this is something which we would love to collaborate with, and which I'm also giving out a call to all the educators here. We have the science communication, the scientific public outreach program, SciPop, here at IUCAA. Other than that, we have the Astronomy Center for Educators. You'll be meeting some of the important people from that educator center. So there are several teacher training programs that we would love to do with you, especially with the universities. We would love to. We are already doing a lot of workforce development oriented outreach activities there, but we are always ready to help out with your own events, your own students. We also kind of have some good knowledge of crossover branches, not just astrophysics, but things like astrobiology, astrochemistry, planetary geology. All these are sometimes not very easy to find resources for in India, particularly because most of our institutes are astrophysics institutes. But if children could be aware of them from the early times, they would probably look for the proper resources and get the proper guidance, get the proper career path if they want to contribute in these as well, right? So we have a lot of astrophysicists, but we could do with more astrobiologists, astrochemistry people, and people who could think about geologies on other planets, other moons, other asteroids. Again, very important things. And I know if you are into science fiction, you must be thinking of a particular series going on right now. So yeah, those are the branches that we also would love to collaborate on. We are making resources right now. So if you're interested in doing your own outreach, you could contact us. We are making themed resources. So if your interest base is say galaxies, you study galaxies and you want to talk more about galaxies, we could work together and produce some resources so that it is easier for you to talk about galaxies to any sorts of audience. Right? So just give us a shot. There's something also very important that we focus on. This is called inclusive outreach. Okay, so inclusive outreach basically includes everyone, and by everyone I mean when we talk about any kind of activity, there is always a disregard for people, let's say, who can't see, who can't hear, who are handicapped, who can't reach the venue where your event is going on, right? There are other handicaps, social handicaps as well. So if I go to a place where I'm doing a night sky show, I see less girls turning up there because that there's a stigma that girls should not go out at night. There might be programs where girls are not included. So these are extremely important things which also are our responsibility to address because we are doing outreach and we should not leave anybody behind when we do outreach. So although I've put this point last, but I'm saying it is one of the very important points. And so the IUCAA outreach team has been also working in particularly highlighting, let's say, the work of women astronomers. But not just that, we are also working on enabling youngsters who cannot see or who have other disabilities to experience astronomy. Okay, this, as you will notice, is extremely challenging, especially visually handicapped audiences cannot see the beautiful images that that Hubble telescope or GMRT or Chandra X-ray telescope is making, right? So it's a different challenge in explaining to them what the universe is and how humanity is understanding it at this current moment. So with that thought, we go ahead and we try to cover as much of the breadth of all this as possible. So I think that's it. I'll stop here. These are our various handles that you can use to find us online, and our resources are there on the YouTube channel. Various live videos and recorded videos are there. There are some playlists, there are some series which you can go through. And if there's a chance in the conversation where I need to talk about any of them, I'll also show it to you. So it's just IUCAA SciPop. If you just remember that, you'll find us online. Okay. So now I have finished my talk early, and I'm ready to address the questions or the comments, or have a discussion with all of you. If you have noted this down, I will stop sharing the screen and we can have a conversation. IUCAA SciPop. Let me stop presenting here. Okay, so let me just go to the chat box and read out some of the questions, and after that I can take direct questions. Astha Chaturvedi asks, are telescope workshops possible in these times too? Yes, so the telescope making workshop that I was mentioning is, of course, that is something you need to do in person at IUCAA in our small lab. But we have resources online, and if you go to the SciPop website, I'm just trying to open that up myself. So if you go to our SciPop website, there's a link there saying how to make your own telescope. Right? So make a telescope basically. So I'm just putting the link in here at the chat box for everyone to see. Okay. So that's a link where you can find some details, and there's actually a book, a lovely book by Dr. P.N. Shankar, who was an astronomer, but he also enabled a lot of people to basically make their own telescopes. So he has this lovely book with a lot of beautiful illustrations, etc., which tell you how to make a telescope for yourself. So you can have a look there. If you want to make your own telescope with us here in IUCAA, then you'll have to register with the form, etc., which is there. But then if not, you can write to us, scipop@gmail.com. That's our email ID as well. So you can write to us and we can be in touch. And in fact, not just now, we've been doing things online for the last 6-7 years. And then, so the shift to online was not very, drastic for us. So I'm just probably boasting, but yes, when the pandemic started, many of you will remember LIGO India did the first lecture series starting 1st April. Right? 22nd was when national lockdown started. 1st April, we were already online with lecture series and all that. So yeah, I mean, we have been doing this, and why I'm saying this is because online collaboration is actually efficient, right? And not just in India, but we've made telescopes with people sitting in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka as well, right? So we've been able to do that. Only thing is right now, getting the hardware material might be slightly difficult. But whenever you can get them, we can do a telescope making with all of you. Okay, so I think this is the question that can we visit GMRT IUCAA after the pandemic? Yes, I guess. GMRT is, of course, under the National Center for Radio Astrophysics, and they have their own website for booking visits there. If you're around Pune, it's quite easy. You can probably land up there on that particular day after registering. Same with IUCAA. On Thursday afternoons, we have the IUCAA visits, so you can always drop in at our gate. And Thursday, 4 o'clock, we'll take anybody who comes to our gates inside IUCAA, but not during pandemic. After things open up, you're welcome here. Right. Okay, so I can take some more questions. Let me just check. Okay. So I cannot answer questions about GRF, PhD, etc. here. And okay, so contact details. Many of you are asking for contact details. I will again put in. My name is Samir. So samir@iucaa.in is my ID, and otherwise you can always write to scipop@gmail.com. Okay. So these are our IDs, so the team's IDs. Okay. Suraj is asking, can we make presentations and do seminars in your outreach events? Well, yes, depends on what outreach events you are interested in. So we can, be in conversation over emails. But yes, that's what I was saying, that if suppose a talk is going on in I don't know, Suraj, are you in Tamil Nadu or somewhere south? I'm sorry, I don't know. But if you're there and I don't know the local language, you think that your language skills would be very useful there, right? Or your local knowledge would be useful. You'd be a great resource person for us. Yes, we can join our hands. Somebody's in Manipur, somebody's in Kashmir, right, where we don't speak the language so well, and English is not always the easiest language to understand. So we can tie up, and in fact, if you are organizing a outreach event, you can let us know, or you can just write to us saying, I'd be happy to do these programs in these languages, etc., or with these themes, etc. Okay. Okay. So future opportunities, I'm sorry, I cannot talk about here. That's for others to see. There's a question, what is the eligibility criteria for teacher training program? Now, these programs I would like to clear are for school teachers, mostly 5th to 10th standard. Okay, and they are often announced on our Facebook and Twitter. So please keep a lookout. Whenever it's there, you can join them. So you don't have to have any eligibility. If you're we actually call them educator workshops. Okay, so when we say teacher, you have to go and teach in a school. You might be an informal educator. You might, as I said, you might just want to go to a village every weekend and talk to some kids there, right, or talk to some people there. So, anybody who has interest in learning about a certain theme that we are doing the workshop on is welcome to join it. Only thing is, we encourage registering with us so that we have your contact details, etc., for finding you later. Okay. Yes, somebody, Arpita is asking, can IUCAA conduct online presentation programs? We are doing that, and that's what I was saying, that we have programs online on our YouTube channel. They are often live, but sometimes recorded, and you can have a look at the playlist. If you like certain programs, if you want repeats of them, let us know. We'll try to see what we can arrange specifically for you. Okay. Right. Okay. So I can see one more interesting question, which I'll come to slightly later, by Padmavati. But before that, I can see that 2 people have raised their hands. So, Junik, can you ask your question? Or you can type in the chat. I will read it out. And Javni Brahmbhatt, Junik Sengupta and Javni Brahmbhatt are the 2 people with their hands up. You're welcome to ask your questions. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Okay, interesting question. Are there any kind of internships available? Yes, we do have internships once in a while, and we understand that at BSc or MSc level, many students are interested in also earning some pocket money. So yes, it's not for the pocket money. We do have some stipend for some internships, and we release them on this website once in a while. So under the educators section, you can see the interns positions being advertised at this website, which I'm linking you to right now. Okay, how does the UG and PG student can attend outreach programs at IUCAA? Pura Ram is asking that. In normal times, you could, of course, as I said, you could have your own programs and ask us to join there. Or if you're visiting IUCAA, you can always drop in when our programs are happening. Right now, I think now we are kind of going to move into the hybrid mode in the future. So there will surely be opportunities where you can directly attend our live programs. You can do that even now on the IUCAA SciPop YouTube channel. So whenever there's a live activity, like last month we had this amazing activity in which we all got together to watch the planet Mars disappear behind the moon. So it was an eclipse of Mars by the moon, right? And so, whenever we plan an event like this, there are always people saying, oh, it's so small. How can you see what will happen? How will people react? So you don't think about this. You think about making positively about making the event successful. And we were able to make a 3-4 hour program around that short event. And we are able to get people from other places, like from Tripura, somebody joined in with their own telescope showing us live what is happening in the sky. We were clouded out here, I think. So we had the event happening at a very different time. So therefore we could collaborate with others and have a live event. Just go to our channel and you'll find all these live events which have happened. And then these are followed up with a lot of good information about the event and in general about astronomy, astrophysics by experts. So just join us on our live events on the YouTube channel for SciPop. Okay, so about projects and research work at IUCAA through online mode, I again am not the right person to ask about this. You have to find the contact person for these programs that are happening. Whether you are in the summer program or in the educators refresher course. Please contact a particular person in charge and they will be able to tell you more about the, in general, academic activities of IUCAA. Okay. So again, I think Javni is asking about the eligibility for internships to work with professors here. What I was mentioning, or I have been mentioning, is about outreach. It's about reaching out to people and making astronomy and the research accessible to people. So that's what we deal with here. And I was talking about internships related to that. So if you're, as I said, if you're, let's say, if you're good at making videos, or if you're good at illustrations, or if you're good at speaking in a good way, or writing really flamboyantly, that's the kind of people who we tie up with for short internships. But these will not get you a research project. So if you're looking for a research project and, just come for outreach, that is probably not going to help you much. So for interns, there are no paid internships for research as far as I know, but there might be some projects with stipends, etc. These are usually under the particular mission or particular, let's say, theme. Let's say somebody's doing research on cosmic microwave background radiation. So they may have some project positions to solve certain problems or for a short time. So those are things you would get to know from the concerned professors. So as you go through the course, you'll be introduced to various people and their specialities. It would be, I think, best if you ask them directly if they have any positions open, and they can help you find something useful to do with them. Okay. So Asta Chaturvedi is asking, are there any opportunities for students who have just passed bachelor's? I hope you're asking about outreach. In fact, I would suggest that you go to your closest place where outreach is done for yourself, right? So that way you don't have to come over to IUCAA, and I don't want everything happening from IUCAA either. So in most regions there are local science centers, regional science centers. In big cities there might be planetaria around. So go over to them. Go over, find out if they need any help. You've done a bachelor's, you've done a course with IUCAA, got some understanding of the subject of astronomy. Go and propose to them, saying, okay, fine, I have this particular skill set. Would I be useful? And they would probably be able to, find some good work for you better than you directly joining IUCAA. As I said, if you have interest, just drop in a mail. We'll we can converse later to this. Okay. Any other questions? I'm happy to take them. I see an old friend, Alkendra. How are you? And it's nice to hear that BHU is doing a lot of activities as well. And yes, let's get in touch afterwards. Now, okay, so if I'm not getting any questions, I'll quickly tell you that tomorrow I insist that you should join us here, because I'll not be in this room. I'll be outside in our science center. We will be putting together a slightly advanced telescope. Okay. So that is very important, and basically we have a automated telescope here, not fully automated, but has motor drive, etc. It's if you see the schedule, it also describes it there. So tomorrow, what we'll be doing is we take this telescope and we assemble it right from scratch. So we have completely taken it apart today, and tomorrow we'll be reassembling it in front of you here, so that you see you can get some confidence in handling a telescope. One of the most important things which keeps us back, including, I'm talking about educators also, and just let me be frank that sometimes we say, okay, what if I make a mistake, right? Mistake kuch galti ho gayi, kuch toot phoot gaya, to kya hoga? But that won't happen if you've done it in the presence of somebody who knows some of the nitty-gritties of it. So basically, I'm just trying to humbly say that yes, we can take apart a telescope and put it back together. So tomorrow we'll be showing you the process with one of our telescopes, and this is I find it extremely fun, but it's also something which makes you really focus, because you have to really keep track of all the things in a sequence. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you tomorrow. The next day, we are hoping that the sky clears up here. You might all be, if you're not on the western side of the country, southwestern side of the country, then you may not be affected by the cyclone which is happening. And although we had planned for this mid-May event in which we can actually image or take pictures of the moon, but the cyclone has come along and it's covered our skies completely. But that's still a day after tomorrow, so we may have some respite. And so day after tomorrow, we will plan to show you some methods or the basic way of taking an image. Okay, and not just taking an image, of probably processing it as well, so that you can get a good image to show off if you have a good telescope, right? Junik is asking if that is the telescope here. No, that is a very small telescope. What I'll be showing you tomorrow is going to be bigger. Unfortunately, I don't have the picture right away, but yeah. So that telescope is a demo telescope, and it's a reflecting one. I will be using this to show you some concepts, and it's transparent because it is a show telescope. I want to show people what is inside a telescope, right? So if you make everything a black box, then nobody will learn anything from that black box. So we try to keep things transparent here, and that's what we hope the universe also does. It's transparent enough so that we can find the light coming from it, from various things, and delve into the mysteries of the universe. So this is the plan. So I insist that you join us tomorrow and the day after in these very interesting sessions which will happen. If there are any questions, you can ask us tomorrow as well. So that brings me to the end of the hour. I'm just looking for another question which may be there. Okay, cool. So good. So in that case, since there are no more questions, I hope I've been able to show you why I'm so excited when I talk about astronomy, and why I'm so excited in talking to you, because I am seeing some people who might become my friends in the future, and we might be able to help other people make friends with the sky and the stars and the galaxies that are out there. So with that message, I will end this session here. Hope to see you all tomorrow, and hope that the skies clear up. That is always the bane of the optical astronomer. I'm personally a radio astronomer, but of course for you, I'm bringing you the optical astronomy telescope to see tomorrow. So we'll hope for the best and for clear skies.